this episode is about to be.
Yeah, hey.
Welcome to the Miller Time Podcast.
People of color redefining success.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this episode of the Miller Time Podcast. I am Patrick Miller.
I'm Coco Miller.
And we are the Millers.
Yes.
We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really good for the sound effects. I can see. Welcome back, everybody. We're so happy to be back. This is, I don't even know how deep we are now.
Yeah, I don't know what episode
we're deep in here. We're so deep we don't even know how long we've been in this hole. But we're going to keep digging and we're going to keep going until we come out on top.
I think it's only episode 5.
Yeah? All right, whatever. Yeah. It feels like forever, though. It feels like we've been doing this for a long time. I feel like we are so close to our listeners now. Like, you guys have become our friends, our family, and we love you.
We love you.
And we don't ever want to leave this place.
We love you.
Courtney's going to start doing
I'm going to do ASMR. I'm eating Cheetos right now.
Oh, if that's the sound of Cheetos, I don't want them no more. Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing our series on BSPF. We've been going through our personal success philosophy, not even just our personal success philosophy, but it has now become a part of our business practices, our relational practices, our friendships, our careers, our lifestyle. Yes. We apply this in everything that we do. Just to recap on BSPF, and if you don't know what we're talking about, you could always go back to the past episodes. You could start listening to episode 1, and I believe the next episode goes straight into what BSPF is, and you can listen to all those episodes as we go through, but we're on our last. BSPF is a 4-part philosophy series, or philosophy,
and we're doing it in a series.
Yeah, we're doing it in a series, so I was right. So first being Brace, which is
every dream has a team.
Brace. Every dream has a team. I got to remember because it's so impactful in my life. Wow. So I should. Brace. Every dream has a team. The second one is Spark. Hope changes the future. The third is Purpose. What you do matters. And this last one that we're on today is Flow. When there is passion, power, and purpose, there is fulfillment.
Yes.
And something that's so important about all of these is that with Brace, you learn how to surround yourself with the people who are intentional about seeing you be successful. And you are intentional about them being successful as well. Mm-hmm. When you have Spark is all about having the ability to challenge your limiting beliefs and create empowering beliefs. And we believe that whatever you believe will impact your reality.
Yes.
And so if you can change the way you think, then you can change the way you see.
Yeah.
And you can change what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then Purpose is that we believe that everything you do matters. And in fact, that the more you see the impact behind your work, the more motivated you can be in doing your work, and also inspiring others to join you and partner with you.
Right.
And then Flow, when your purpose, passion, and power are all aligned, all of a sudden you are in your flow. And so today we're going to be going into this flow. Courtney's going to take the lead on talking about what flow is. And today we're going to help you leave not just with an understanding of what flow is, but also why flow is important.
Yes. Is your phone on silent?
Yes.
Okay. I heard vibration. Okay, let's just remember this happened around 4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't you write that down? 4 minutes that you started acting crazy.
Okay, y'all.
Well, I think before we even get into this, did you want to do it, or did you want me to talk about what the importance of flow is?
I'll talk about it.
You'll talk about the importance of flow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then Courtney's going to lead us into talking about flow.
Okay. Y'all ready?
Oh, yes, we are.
Put your seatbelt on.
Click, click. Wow, you and your sound effects today, they're crazy.
Let's get into it. So what is flow? Flow is basically getting into the place of moving into your purpose and tapping into the skills and confidence that you need to be successful. So what does that mean? Really, flow is about helping you to realize the strengths and the skills that you already have within you are actually the key and the tools that will push you forward in creating your extraordinary life. Often we can hear about, oh, well, you know, living in the Bay Area, you better learn how to code because that's where the money is. But you actually hate numbers and you hate anything computer related. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you should spend more of your time and your efforts getting into your strengths, getting into those skills.
Yeah, so you said flow is where, and I said this as well, is where your purpose, passion, and power all align. That's where your flow is. Maybe we should do, like, just talk about what are those, because I know those are words that we hear all the time. But what is your purpose, what is your passion, and what is your power?
Yeah, so the way I like to define passion is like the things that drive you, like the things that you're interested in, the things that you value, the things that light a fire underneath you. Those are the things that are your passions.
Yeah.
Your power.
Before you go on to that,
sure.
When I think about passion, I think about something that, like, one of my mentors always says is that your passion is what you love and what you hate. So when you think about your passion, it's like, what do you love and what do you hate?
I can answer that for you.
Okay.
I think it's good to use examples. Something that I love seeing people feel empowered, to feel encouraged, feeling comforted and loved. Something I hate. Ooh.
What do you hate?
That's a hard question because hate is just such a strong word.
I can tell you what you hate.
What do I hate?
You hate cussing in movies.
Oh, yeah. I hate sex scenes.
You hate sex scenes. You hate...
Oh, I know. Okay. I hate that society views women's bodies as sex objects. I hate that with a passion. I will kill someone for that. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. I take that back.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty intense. I would say that maybe my passions, I was thinking about my passions. What do I love? I had this dream one time, and this goes into what I love. I had this dream one time that, like, I was out in my old neighborhood in Oakland, and it was like sunset, but it was at the time where the sun was down, and it was like a hot summer day. And the sky was that pinkish color that it usually is, like, right before the sun is about to set. But it was super warm outside. And, like, all of our friends were, like, outside in the neighborhood and we're just roaming the neighborhood. But it felt like forever. It felt like that time. Because that time is only probably, like, 30 minutes to an hour long. But it felt like forever. It felt like it was just a long time of us just, like, sitting there, like, having fun, like, going to the park, getting ice cream, getting wet, like, riding bikes, like, doing all types of crazy things. I remember somebody was saying, like, oh, yeah, like, I was like, man, this is taking forever. And they were like, yeah, this is never going to end. And I was like, what? This is amazing. So I think I had that dream because I, like, really enjoy the idea of, like, you're at the cool of the day. It's like, it's cooled down. It's that summertime. You just get to enjoy. There's no thought about, like, oh man, like, soon we're gonna have to go inside the house, and then when the street lights come on, but at this moment we're just gonna have fun, and this is probably, like, gonna be the most fun part of the day. So that's why I enjoy the type of fun that's kind of related to that, like, sunset, like, oh crap, the street lights are about to come on, so we're gonna have as much fun as we can before we gotta be home. So I enjoy that type of freedom of, like, just roaming and having fun and just doing what you love. And then what I hate, and I've thought about this, I hate when I see people who I know have, like, a lot of potential, being oppressed or, like, fooled into thinking that they're less than. Like, I remember, there was, like, I think just, like, even as a kid, like, I would see kids who were, like, way bigger and, like, getting bullied. I'm like, you are a monster. You better, like, you better beat them up. Don't let them pick on you. But I think that carried over into, like, my adulthood, where I hate seeing people who have, like, a lot of potential, not able to tap into that potential, and they allow society or debt or whatever pressures to hold them down and say that you can't do it because you're not worthy, you're not good enough. Those are my passions.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then talking about power.
Mm-hmm.
Power. Well, you want to define it? What's power?
Okay. Power is my favorite, because what power is power is the skills and the abilities that you have that you're just really naturally good at. Like, these are the things that
your
you
superpowers.
do well. Yeah, it's like your superpower. It's almost like these are the things that people always ask you to do. They'll be like, hey, you're really good at this. Can you come do this? Or like, these are the things that like always it gets deferred to you. Like if you're at a party and a group of people with friends that you know forever, these are the type of like the things that you always get deferred to being this type of person. You are always the organizer. You are always the host. You are always on cleanup. You're always cooking. You're always whatever it is. Like, or if you're with your friends and you guys go out and you guys are like drinking, maybe you're the designated driver, so maybe your skill is being responsible while your friends are bums. You know how to be responsible, so you always get deferred to being the responsible one. So like for me, my power has always been being the I would say like the spokesperson or the leader. So I remember all the time we would go to your house for your birthday parties or someone's parties. I feel like we always have parties at your house.
Yeah,
and your parents would be like, is Patrick coming? Patrick gonna have to host the games. Patrick gonna have to be the one to do it. And I was like, always in charge of the games because that was like what was deferred to me. Like, you're going to be the party person. You're going to be the person who hosts things. You're going to be the person who leads things. We'll just give you everything and step back.
You know how to get people excited.
Yeah.
And you know how to get people, you know how to excite people to come onto your purpose.
Okay, that's my power.
A sneak peek for the next segment.
I'm flexing.
Your power
is
very much connected to your purpose. But let me share my power. I got superpowers too.
What's your superpower?
My superpower, well, using your definition of what people usually defer and they say you're good at this. I'm not going to go to the number one because everyone's like, you're so good at being organized. I'm like, I am more than an organizer.
You are more than an organizer, but you're so good at it. Everybody else is so weak at it that they like defer to you always.
You know, I'm good at budgeting. I'm good at anything that requires structure, order, timeline, agendas. I'm your girl.
I think you're really, well, I'll let you go, but I would say with that, I think it's the ability to be really good, to be meticulous and be really good and consistent for a long period of time and really meticulous things. I think like there is sometimes where like a budget, it's not that a budget is difficult. It's that having to be consistent and go through all those different numbers, type up all those different things and like add all.
It's like discipline.
It's discipline. It's like a long, being good, doing good for a long period of time through very meticulous things.
Yeah. Well, a sneak peek into something we'll share later.
I took a test.
I took a test, which I'll tell you guys about later, where it told me one of my top strengths is my discipline. So
I believe it.
Yeah, he gets to live it every day. I made him clean the house before this episode. I was like, we're not doing a podcast with the dirty house.
we don't want all our podcast listeners to hear our dirty house.
It's okay. It's okay. So that is power. And then let's get into purpose. So obviously we talked about purpose. Purpose has everything to do with how what you do impacts the people around you. That it's not just, what gives your life meaning where it just stays with you and dies with you, but what gives your life purpose where you feel fulfillment in the work that you do that it impacts other people. So again, example with purpose would be, I believe my purpose, even though, again, I'm in the field of psychology, I would not say my purpose is to become a psychologist because that's a goal. And that would end in a couple years when I get my license. So my goal has to be bigger. My purpose has to be bigger than a goal. Right. So my purpose is to be able to provide spaces where people feel loved, encouraged, and comforted. And that can happen anywhere. So again, purpose doesn't just stick with, my purpose is to become a basketball player. Like, it has to go beyond and impacting other people. Yeah,
that's really big. And also, like, again, we talk about purpose a lot in our last episode of BSPF. So if you want to like learn more about purpose and maybe even you need help in figuring out your purpose, that's a really good episode to listen to. But yeah, I think that's what you're saying is that purpose is larger than just a goal. That really purpose can't be achieved. Purpose is something you're always in continual chase of.
Yes.
Which is really interesting because I think that would leave a lot of basketball players perplexed on like, what's my purpose? Because you know, a lot of times they're like, oh, it's just play basketball. This is my thing. But like, you got to start thinking about, well, what is your purpose outside of being a basketball player? Or what is it about your purpose that drives you to want to be a basketball player?
Right.
That's really interesting.
I mean, even trying to find out your purpose, that's like such a deep existential question where it's like, what is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Like, all those are very deep things that aren't easy to find out.
Yeah.
You know? And you may say, oh, my purpose is just to live and have relationships and have sex and then die one day.
Yeah.
And sure.
That's it. That's it.
That can be a purpose if you want it to be.
Yeah, right. But then it's over once that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So with those three, with passion, power, and purpose, we believe that's where fulfillment is.
Yeah.
It's when all three of those are in alignment. And it's not like there's going to be this kairos moment where you're in your power, purpose, and passions, and you're like, oh,
You turn gold and you start powering up, going Super Saiyan.
I am fulfilled. I'm fulfilled.
It's amazing that's your expression. Like, oh, I'm fulfilled. Like, I turn into this opera angel. And in my mind, I'm like, you turn into Goku and go Super Saiyan.
Oh, I mean, whoa.
I need to do voice acting for Dragon Ball Z.
Whoa.
Dang.
Okay. So, yes. The purpose of being in your flow is so that we can find fulfillment. That's the overall thing of flow. Yeah. Flow is not about, let me just do the things I'm passionate about. And it's not just alone of like, let me do the things I'm good at. It's really about how do you find fulfillment and create your extraordinary life. And that's only going to come from when you're in your passion, your power, and your purpose. It's not going to come from you chasing money. Fulfillment is not going to come from a marriage. Fulfillment is not going to come once you get, that newer, higher paying job. Fulfillment only comes when you are in your purpose, you are in your passion, and you are in your power and in Jesus.
So I guess I have a question about this, is that you are pretty much saying that the importance of being in your flow is that it's what brings fulfillment to you. That when you're in your flow, that it's not just you're doing work and the work that you're doing is okay, but it's like, oh yeah, like this is great work that I'm doing, oh, I'm benefiting people, but like it's really the sense of like the work that I'm doing is like it's almost completing me in a sense, or I feel a part of something that makes me feel worthwhile, or it makes me feel like my life is driving in a direction, and I feel that this is like all part of a bigger plan. Yeah, in a sense. Yeah,
we are humans that are in search of like meaning, purpose, fulfillment. And if you don't know that you're looking for meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, sometimes we go through seasons where we're just like on our grind, or we're just doing things, but you get to a place of exhaustion where you're like, what am I doing all of this for? Why does this even matter? Why am I alive? Like we are created for purpose, and in order for us to find fulfillment is when we're in our purpose.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So I guess that takes me to another question then. So if it's important for us to do this type of work, so that, or it's important that we are searching after purpose, after passion, and after power, so that we actually find fulfillment in the work that we're doing. What does it look like? What's an example of someone who maybe they don't have, there's three of them, so maybe they don't have their purpose. Maybe they're not doing something that they have purpose, something that matters to them, that isn't creating the impact that they want to create, but maybe there's passion and there's power. What would that look like for someone who's living a life of passion and power, but not purpose?
That's a interesting combination. I would think that maybe there's someone that's really passionate about human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Their power, they're really good at leading.
Mm-hmm.
Like really good at being a spokesperson.
Mm-hmm.
But they're working maybe a job that is at Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're like the manager at Trader Joe's.
Mm.
Even though they're operating in a leadership capacity and they have something that they're passionate about, I believe purpose is when you're aligning like your interests, your values, your work, everything into your day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
So purpose isn't just, I have a purpose and it's in my heart. But I believe purpose really comes alive when your behavior patterns, when your actions, when everything that you would do aligns with the things that you're passionate about and the things that you're actually interested and strong in.
I think what I hear you saying that maybe I'm powerful. Maybe my power is leadership, right? My power is leadership. So in my work, I make sure that I'm a leader. I make sure that I step up and I take responsibility and I push from behind and I drive people forward towards success. Maybe I see that my passion is around human trafficking. Because I think what you said, maybe that's more of like, all right, I work at Trader Joe's because I have this really good power and Trader Joe's is going to give me the opportunity to be a leader. Trader Joe's is a really great company.
We love Trader Joe's.
We love Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's, why don't you sponsor us?
Even though Trader Joe's, we did the ice cream contest and y'all played us.
Yeah, we got
our ice cream looked dope. But anyway, y'all gonna pick some
food blogger.
Right, some top chef of the world, Craig, food blogger.
That's okay. We'll still promote you. I spend so much money at your store. I love you guys. I love you.
That's the ASMR from Trader Joe's. So if someone has their power as a leader, they say, hey, I'm going to find any company that like maybe a great company that'll give me the opportunity to be a leader. Bam, I'm using my power, right? Yeah. But they're still missing the other key components of their passion and their purpose, right? So power might be, here's Trader Joe's giving me this opportunity. Cool. Bam. I'm a part of it. But maybe something that I'm passionate about is around human trafficking. I love seeing people free and I love seeing people have opportunities to pursue life and meaningful existence. But also, I hate seeing people being sold off against their will and forced into sexual slavery and all these different things. And so because of that, now I say, I'm going to align that. All right, I'm going to work for a company that's
a nonprofit. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to work for a nonprofit that's dealing with human trafficking. And so now maybe they give me a leadership position and I'm dealing with human trafficking, but if I don't have purpose, now this feels a little still, am I doing exactly what I should be doing in this, right? Or like maybe the position as a leader is cool, but I still don't feel like I'm doing anything because I'm missing this sense of purpose. So what would it look like for that person who maybe left Trader Joe's? They got great experience at Trader Joe's to be a leader, but they weren't really pursuing their passion or their purpose. They joined a nonprofit that's all about human trafficking, that's aligning their power with their passion of human trafficking. But now what they need is a sense of purpose.
Right.
What would that look like for that person to go from, now I have the ability to like add in my purpose?
Yeah. I mean, purpose again has to do like more than you. And so when you're looking at your purpose, you're looking at how is what I'm doing impacting others. And so let's just say you are feeling unfulfilled still in a job where you're in your power and you're in your passion. Maybe there needs to be a shift in like the kind of work that you do where you feel like you're making the kind of impact that you want to make. So let's just say you're in a leadership supervisory kind of role and you're like, you know, even though I'm using my leadership skills and I'm also like in a population that I want to work with, I still don't feel like I'm leaving an impact. Like, I want to work with the people. I feel like my purpose is tied with interacting with people, not just managing people. So you can also be a leader by interacting with people and leading the workforce that goes out to save these women on the streets. Like, that aligns more maybe with the impact that you want to make, and that can bring a deeper sense of fulfillment rather than just being stuck in something that you feel like is your power. Your power can be shifted and moved into a lot of different areas that will help you to find fulfillment and purpose. Really good.
So what kind of questions should I be asking myself if maybe I'm in a place of I'm using my power, I am in an area that my passion is in, but I'm still not feeling fulfilled, and so maybe I don't have a sense of purpose yet. What questions should I be asking myself to lead me in a direction that will get me doing purpose-filled work?
Well, I think it's really important, since this episode is on flow, and flow is really about being able to get into your strengths. I'm going to say it's really important for you to realize that the strengths that you have within you and the experiences that you've already lived are key to your purpose. So let's just say, for example, your power, which is your strength, is like, I'm really good at, I'm really responsible. Like, I can handle a lot of responsibilities. I always follow through. People know me as like an executor. And I'm looking to get into my purpose. Like, okay, I can take this executing strength anywhere I want to go, and I'm good at it, but where do I feel most impactful in my work? I think for you to, one, ask yourself, like, what is my power? What is my strengths? And what are all the different spaces that I feel interested and passionate about in using this? So, you know, as an executor, I feel like I would love to be able to work with people. I don't want to be, even though I do admin, I don't want to be an admin all day. I want to be able to interact with people. But I can also work in an office. I could also do this, this, and this. So that's my power. I've identified what is my power. Then what are the things I'm passionate about? I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about freedom, healing, love, you know, all these things. Now that I've identified what's my power and I've identified the areas that I'm passionate in, I need to realize, okay, what is the impact that I want to have with my power and with my passions?
So to really get to purpose, you need to ask yourself, what's the impact?
Yeah, what's the impact?
Because going back to this person who was at Trader Joe's, and they were a great leader, which was their power, but they weren't doing anything in line with their passion or their purpose. So then they said, well, I'm really passionate about human trafficking and really putting a stop to that. So now I'm going to work for an organization that is going to allow me to be a leader and allow me to work around like the issue around human trafficking. So then the next question they should be asking themselves is, well, what kind of impact do I want to have?
Yes.
What kind of impact do I want to have? And also, what kind of work can I do that allow my power to create the most impact into the direction that I want to create the impact?
Yes. And also being able to see like the value that you have within you. How can you bring that value into someone else's life? Because we have so many different gifts, skills, talents, strengths. And, you know, again, with using meaning versus purpose, we can say, wow, I am just so good at executing. I'm going to just keep doing things where I'm executing, and man, I'm going to be known at my funeral as an executor. Or I can say, wow, I really have a talent, a skill, a power of execution, and this brings a lot of value into my life, And who else needs this? Who else do I want to impact with the value that I bring? What kind of impact do I see my execution bringing into a company, into a kind of population? Being able to see your strength as your value.
That's really good. It's almost like going from being almost like a contract worker who's hired to just be an executor. Like, hey, just get this done, and they get paid a lot of money. But if you were to look at their resume, you would see that they've been all over the place doing a bunch of different things. Versus someone who is like very, not that there's anything wrong with that, but someone who's very focused on purpose. They only execute things that are in line with their passions and their purpose. So their skill, which is execution, they align that with their passion and purpose. So therefore, you look at their resume, all of their work is really, you can look at the story. You can see, this is what you're passionate about. This is what you've been working with. Okay, like that makes sense.
Right. And I think that goes into our flow is so important. It goes into every area of our lives. And you made me think of resumes. When recruiters are looking through resumes, they're looking for some kind of coherent flow. Literally a flow of the kind of work experiences that tell a story. So let's just say you love youth. You are a volunteer with youth. You have worked for a church. You've done so many things, but then you work as a tech in Silicon Valley for a year, and then you go back to doing youth. It's like, wait, what happened? You were operating in your power, which is maybe being a leader for youth, being a great influencer for youth, and then you went into coding. The flow is not making sense. So oftentimes when recruiters can see that, it can be a red flag, hey, this doesn't make sense. Or even with applying to schools too, they're gonna look at experiences and whoa, you were all doing psychology things and then you shifted and did nursing. What happened?
But also you could probably ask yourself and say, okay, what was that? Why did I go into that? And how does that fit into my story of my flow? But yeah, that can be confusing for someone looking on the outside in to be like, hey, you did something totally different. I don't understand. I'm sure when people look at my resume, they're like, what? But I think with some of the help, I've always been able to kind of really pull together the story of my work and where I go.
Yes. Yeah. And it's also another area for flow is so needed just in the workplace. For you to know your flow, where you're strong at, is so important for you to be able to communicate to yourself so that you can communicate to others, where you're not putting yourself in situations where you're not strong, where you're not doing something that, honestly, you're not always going to be operating in the things that you love and the things that you're strong in. There's obviously growing curves and there's things that we're going to have to do that we don't like. But being able to realize when you operate in your strengths and your power, you move so smoothly and successfully through areas where you can rise up the chain in authority. You're able to have influence. You're able to have a lot of decision-making powers because you know where your sphere is. So if I say... And just to share a resource with you guys, Clifton's Strengths Finders is a lovely assessment tool that we've used to be able to get a better idea and understanding of what our strengths are.
What are your strengths?
I believe my number one strength is achiever.
I believe that.
Which is an execution strength. A lot of my strengths actually all fall in execution, and I only have one other strength, which is individualization, which has to do with I love seeing people as the individual that they are, and seeing people as special. You see
the person in the crowd.
Yes, I see the person. I don't look at the crowd. I look at the one person, and so it makes sense kind of why I'm in the field that I'm in, where I'm really good at being an administrator, but I'm also good at just seeing and connecting with people. Those are strengths that, with my other strengths of responsibility and discipline and all these things, they work out very well with me being able to do the administrative portion of being a therapist, but also being able to connect with people and to see the worth in people is something that I love being able to do.
I got mine's right here.
Yeah, what are yours?
Mine's are strategy, which is strategic thinking. Then all my other ones are all about communication. or influence. Sorry, there's themes that a lot of the strengths fall into. My first one, which is strategy, which is around strategic thinking. And then my other four are woo, which is all about winning people over in relationships. Self-assurance, which is like my confidence and ability or my belief in myself. Communication and command.
You are very good at communicating.
Thank you. I mean, I try.
I
challenge myself
so much. I almost hate it. He's always over communicating. I'm like, okay, I get it. Stop over explaining.
Yeah. So, and I show up in different ways in my work with what I do. I'm always strategizing on how to do something easier or how to find a different way if something doesn't work, or just always trying to find a different way, period.
Yeah.
I get bored with doing the same thing. If everybody's doing it, I don't want to do it no more.
And you don't like doing things like the mundane way. You like finding innovative ways of going about
which
stuff.
Is why, for you, I hate budgeting, where you love budgeting, because you're like, oh yeah, I just got to do these little like mundane things to make it happen. Me, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it that way. I want to spend my money, and I want it to automatically upload to the cloud and tell my bank account to let me know, send me a text saying don't spend no more money in this category.
I think they do that.
I'm sure they do. But yeah, so I'm always thinking about strategies around, but also I use my relationship building to pretty much execute on those strategies. So I might think of a strategy and say, here's a new strategy. Now I want to woo you over into like seeing my strategy. I want to show you that I'm confident in what I've been thinking of. And then also I want to over communicate with you so that you understand. And then I want to show you that I can take command and I can make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that really, you show up in that way in a lot of different areas of your life, which it's like, obviously, before we took this test, which like a year ago, you never had the words to articulate it. But now that you have these words, it makes you feel more confident going into new spaces, going into interviews, going into like just new supervisor relationships, knowing like, hey, this is where I'm strong at. This is where I can help your company. This is where I can move in. And maybe, there's other things that you're not so strong in, but because you know what you're strong in, you'll continue to go up the ladder in the area that you dominate, because you can articulate what your strengths are beyond just, I like people. I'm a self-starter. I'm a motivator.
Everybody's a self-starter. Until you're not.
Right. Most of the time I think people actually aren't, because it's like, you're not going to be self-starting about anything that you're not motivated to do.
That's true. That's true.
Which is in your strength.
If it's not in your flow, then you're not going to be a self-starter.
You're not. And so, and strength-based approach is literally all we talk about in therapy as well, where strength-based theory is all about being able to see people at their best, being able to see their resilience, and for them to focus so much on their strengths, where they're using their strengths to help them overcome their challenges. And so when we see people as resourceful beings that have strength and power in the midst of all the trauma, in the midst of all the challenges that they have to overcome, they're more likely to actually, find healing or recover or overcome whatever it is when they see themselves in their power, instead of seeing themselves as defeated and pathologized as, woe is me, I'm going to have to live always with this condition. But if you start showing them like, hey, yes, you may have this condition, but you also have a huge support system. You actually have so much faith in yourself. Like, being able to point out your strengths allows you, it gets you into this mindset of really being an overcomer and really being someone that can see beyond their situation, see beyond any obstacle and challenge, which is very difficult to do, which is why sometimes you need a therapist or a coach. Yeah.
Well, I think about some of the like most influential people in my lives are usually the people who are able to encourage me to see the strength in me.
Yeah.
Like there are times where a situation can seem like dire or feel like it's just like impossible. And then I could talk to certain people who are like, no, like you're powerful, you're this, blah 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 blah, like, and who see the strengths in me, and are able to call in those things, and then that motivates me to be like, oh, okay, like I can do this. And I think that's what we do as well, even in our business, Coco Pama Life. When we work with people, our job is to help you find the strengths that you have, to find the skills that are like native to you, and be able to bring those out and show you that you are resourceful.
Right.
But the only way that you can be resourceful, not the only way, but like what is going to help you really be resourceful is when you're aligned with your purpose.
Yeah.
Because when you're aligned with your purpose, then you're motivated to overcome any trial or any situation that might pop up in your life. So, I mean, that's what we do with a lot of our clients. When we work with our clients, the first thing we go through is like, okay, let's talk about what are your past successes? What are the things that you've overcome? What are challenges that you've made your way through? Okay, you have this like limiting belief that's stopping you from achieving your dream or creating the extraordinary life that you desire. But let's talk about another experience that is similar to that. When have you experienced something similar to this, and how did you overcome that? Oh, you did overcome it. Okay, now what's the belief you have now? To really get them to see perspective. It's really about perspective changing a lot of times, because it's really easy to look at the glass half empty, but what this work is all about is really seeing that the glass is not just half full, but actually it's really full. It's completely full. It's full of water and air.
Oh, yeah. Water and air.
You didn't think about that. H2O and O.
H2O and O2.
O2.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
What's O?
And O.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, if we haven't stressed it enough, when you are in your power, your purpose, and your passion, you're going to find fulfillment. And so we have a challenge that we want to be able to leave with you guys, because we know how important it is for you to be moving in fulfillment, because we know fulfillment is what is going to make us feel like we want to wake up for work the next day. Fulfillment is what's going to make us feel like, oh, I can keep moving in my life because I find fulfillment. I don't want to give up in life because I do something that I feel fulfilled in. And, you know, with all the recent news we've been hearing about suicides and, you know, just working in the mental health field, we see how, like, the world we live in, it's depressing. There's so much oppression. There's so much war, mass shootings. There's so many things that we can get really, really bogged down by. And so when we can at least have something that brings our life fulfillment, it gives us the hope to keep moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And hope changes the future.
Hope
Spark.
changes. Ooh, spark them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the challenge?
I would say there's a couple questions I want to leave everybody with that's been listening through. One question that you should ask yourself, and this is just to help you get into the mindset of really seeing your flow, really understanding your flow, and becoming confident to create the extraordinary life you desire. First question is, what are some past successes that you've had? What are some challenges that you've overcome? Maybe struggles that you worked your way through, or an experience that you did really well in. The first thing you should be asking yourself is, what are the things that I'm good at? Where have I had success before? Yeah. And usually we'll start at our failure. We'll start at our failures. We'll start at our weaknesses. I forget what I was listening to or where I heard this from, but they were saying that you could ask a child, what are you good at? And they're like, I'm good at this, and I'm good at that, and I can jump really high, and I can ride a bike. And like kids have like hundreds of things that they can tell you that you're good at. But you ask an adult, what are you good at? And they're like, they'll stare at you. Like, let me think about that. And it really, like, adults need a coaching session to be able to find out what they're good at.
Yeah.
So what I want to challenge you to do is start to think about first, what am I good at? Where have I had success? What have I overcome? What's a challenge that I worked my way through? That's the first step, is what are you good at? Second question is, what are the skills you use to overcome in that area? What are the skills that you use to overcome your challenges. A lot of times we don't even recognize it, but when we get into tough situations or into a tough spot and we find ourselves having to work our way out of it, we tend to revert back to what's natural for us to be successful. When you feel like there's no other way to be successful, you're going to revert back to what you know to help you become successful. When you overcame and you were successful in the past, what were the skills that you used to become successful? When you're able to, one, identify where have I been successful, two, identify what did I use. This is like a deep level of thinking, really to assess how did you overcome. Now, not only do you see areas that you've been successful in, which will give you the confidence, but also now you recognize the skills that you've had all along, and that you can continue to use.
Your power.
You have your power. And then the third thing is, what is something that you are passionate about that you want to impact next? What is something that you are passionate about that you want to create impact in next? So the questions you might be asking yourself about that is, how can you make people's lives better? How can you make this situation better? How can you make it beneficial for someone else? Because now what you're done, you've looked at a place that you've been successful. You looked at the skills you use to be successful in that situation. And now you are already assessing what is the next thing that you're going to do to start solving these problems using the skills that you've already been successful in. And what you'll find is you'll stop focusing on the lack that you have in your life. You'll stop focusing on the issues, the problems you have in your life. And you'll start to focus on the problems that you can solve. And you'll start to focus on the things that you've already done and you've already overcome. And then you'll start to see problems not as roadblocks, but bridges that need to be built. Yeah.
And I think when you're able to see your power and your strengths more, you will realize maybe I'm not in the place where I'm operating in my power and my strength, in my day-to-day life. It doesn't always just have to be in your job. It would be great if everything we do is operating in our power, our passion, and our purpose.
Yeah.
But my question for everyone, too, would be, how can you start to align yourself today in either your passions, your power, or your purpose?
Yeah, that's really good. And I think as you said that, I remember it wasn't until we started our business that I recognized how far I was out of my flow at my job at that time. It wasn't until then. And so a lot of times, like the questions that I asked, the first one is, where have you been successful? Second one is, what was the skill that you used to be successful? Third one is, what's a new problem that you can solve using your skills? And then the fourth one that Courtney asked you is, how can you start getting aligned with your purpose, passion, and power? So that you can get into your flow.
Yep.
And even if that's outside of your job, even that's outside of your current career, you'll find that if you take on side projects, if you start a side hustle, we love side hustles. We listen to Chris Gillibo on Side Hustle School, that if you start a side hustle or some type of job or project on the side, just doing that, you'll find that as you start to move in that direction, you'll start to align yourself with your purpose and your passion and your power. And you'll find yourself asking yourself questions like, okay, now that I've been doing this now, maybe this job isn't where I should be.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to start making a shift.
You'll start to feel uncomfortable. Once you realize where your passion, power, and purpose is, you'll be like, this is not fulfilling, and I need to be in where fulfillment is.
All of a sudden, you're going to be woke.
You're going to be like, bye, job. But wait until you find another job.
Wait until you're secure. We do not condone anybody quitting their job unless you got savings for 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah.
And so those are our challenges, our questions for you all. And this is basically ending the series on BSPF. When actually, it's really not ending it, because everything that we do is tied to BSPF.
Forever.
It's never
forever.
Ending.
You gonna use this forever.
You're welcome. But we wanted to just lay the foundation of our success philosophy because we're going to be bringing these concepts back up. And if you ever hear us say flow, you're going to be like, what the heck is flow? Yeah. We're going to say, go back to episode 5. But yeah, we just wanted to go into depth where in all of these with BSPF, you have a deeper understanding of how can I use the Miller's success philosophy in my life to bring change and to create my extraordinary life, because as you know, you have the power to create your extraordinary life.
Oh, that's so good. Say that again.
You have the power to create your extraordinary life.
Coco the Miller Time ASMR podcast.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why. I just like talking close to the mic. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Yeah, so what can you guys look forward to for our next episode? We are gonna be getting into life lessons.
Yes, we're gonna start talking about experiences, things that we've been through, situations we went through. We're gonna tell you what really happened, and we're gonna share all of our experiences, how we overcame those challenges, and then what are the lessons that we learned.
Yeah, so you can learn them before life happens to you, or maybe you already learned these lessons.
Or maybe you already learned it. Maybe this can be a good reminder. Maybe you have a child or a teenager or a young person at home, or you're like, hey, you need to be listening to this podcast. This is a good opportunity to send them our way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got something to tell them.
We keep it real. And we might get emotional. I might cry on our next episode.
She most likely will cry.
I cry a lot.
She does cry.
But crying is healing. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to stop.
So, yes. So next episode, you can start to look forward to hearing life lessons from Coco and Pat. And we are so excited to have you guys with us. So we hope that you're excited to have us with you. Wherever you're listening to this on, please, we want to remind you that we survive and we thrive off of your support. So, if you could like, comment, and refer us to your review us too. Yeah, let us know what you think.
Download.
If you're like, hey, you guys suck.
But I have an idea for you guys.
Send it to us. Send it to our email. Send it to us
at themillers@cocoplanmylife.com.
Or you can go to cocoplanmylife.com, press the brace button, and
brace
send
yourself.
us a message.
Yep, send us a message.
Yeah, we would love to connect with you all and hear from you. We're so thankful for you all for listening to this podcast. Without you, we wouldn't be here. And so we want to be able to give back to you all. Yes. So thank you. And this is it. We are out.
Bye.
Miller Time Podcast. Miller Time Podcast.
Miller.